This interview is with Mr. John Edgar Baines Jr., the eldest member of the Yarbourgh branch of the Tanner Young and Yarbourgh family tree. John Baines Jr. was born in Norfolk, Virginia, December 20th, 1937. He is the son of Eileen and John Baines Yarbourgh. He is also the grandson of Adele Yarbourgh and Carl Yarbourgh. So we have a couple questions that we're going to ask Mr. Baines. We're currently in Virginia Beach by his family wall. We call this his love wall. So we added a little thing, his mom in the background. So the first question that we're going to ask Mr. Baines, please tell us something about your grandparents growing up that you remember in Georgia.
Well, let me just say a few things. I had great grandparents in Georgia. And I was lucky as a young man to get the chance to leave Virginia and go down there and stay with my grandparents. And while I was down there, they always had something for me to do. Cut wood, plant, pick the garden, and it wasn't bad. It's good. I think it's a great thing to do, to work. That's what kept me going for 84 years, was work. Thank you.
All right. Anything else you want to share about going to church? Or I think, did you spend in the fall with one of your relatives in Georgia?
Yes. I went and stayed with my Aunt Moselle. I didn't stay that long. I went there and went to school. And it was a very unusual type of school. You see, I was the only student in the school when I was going.
Okay.
I would go to school in the morning, and it seemed like it was a long day every day because there was no other student. So really, I found I had to tell my aunt that it was time for me to go back home. And the reason I was in that school was they would not let me attend the public school. They said that if your parents are not a citizen in that city, you could not attend those public schools. So I finally worked my way out of there and went back to Virginia.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about, I think you said you went to church and with your grandfather?
Oh, my Aunt Moselle.
Oh, you went Moselle. Okay.
I went to Ebenezer Baptist Church I was still young when I first went down there. And that if you remember, that's the church that Martin Luther King got his start. He was a preacher at that church. So I attended just about every Sunday, and my aunt would always tell me I need to join the church and get baptized. So I put it off for a long time, then I finally broke down and told her, said, yeah, I want to get baptized. And they scheduled me for baptism, and lo and behold, Martin Luther King baptized me. So after that, time sort of run out down there for me, and I asked my aunt if she could send me back home. And basically because of school, I just couldn't go to a one-student school. It was a private school.
It's a private school. What about your granddad? Did your granddad have any how did he get around back in those days?
Ooh.
What year are we talking about, your granddad? How did he travel?
He traveled.
Talking about with the horse and buggy?
Well, on Sunday, he worked for the farm up the street.
Oh, okay.
And I think, in fact, the land they were living on and the houses they were staying in belonged to this guy Braston. And he had big grocery store and had a business up there in Braston. But anyway, he could always get the horse and the buggy to go to church. So we would go all the way to Gainesville to go to church.
Okay.
And they had a good time at the church. They always had a big picnic cookout. I had no complaint about that. That was good.
Okay. So, we're talking about family reunions. This is the 100th. What would you like your favorite one held out in town? I think you had one here. Tell us a little bit about that. What's your favorite and what y'all do when you had, I think was it the 75th you had here?
Yeah, 75th or 73rd?
75th.
75th. Yeah, that was our turn to put on the family reunion. And so I got with my family, assigned all these people to different jobs, and we went to the beach, and I carried them down to the Little Creek, which is a naval base. We went down there and had the cookout. I carried them for a tour on a naval base so they could go there and see all the Navy ships. And we got that, so it was pretty good. We had a party at the hotel, so I think everybody enjoyed it quite a bit.
Okay. And then was that the one that you had an article in the newspaper? Did y'all make the Virginia Pilot, the newspaper?
Yeah, somebody got that done. I don't know who did. I can't remember.
Okay.
But it's just it was in the paper, and it tells about our picnic that we held every year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And also the trips that we made on the base down to the pier, looking at the aircraft carriers and other ships.
Okay. Yeah, for those who don't know, I think they had a copy, and this is kind of the title, the 75th Reunion Road Brings Family Back in Norfolk when they went down there. Okay, we have one more question or two more questions. What does the 100th Tanner Younger Family Reunion mean to you? The Tanner Younger Yarbourgh. What does this 100th mean? This is 100 years that y'all been getting together, banquet, cookout, having fun. What does that mean to you?
That means I'm getting old.
Just okay, Mr. Bays. So you're getting old. How exactly old are you, Mr. Bays?
I'm 84.
You're 84.
That's old.
Okay.
You know, you had that many reunions. I don't know when they first started the reunion, but I probably started somewhere in the middle there.
Okay. All right. So, what advice would you give the young Tanner and Yarbourgh generation, the young folks? What you want to tell the young folks about?
I'll tell them continue to work hard.
All right.
And try to keep this reunion going, and have fun with it. Okay. Travel to different states, different cities, and do things when you get there. And let the young folks start stepping up now. Because the old guys are going down.
He said the old guys are going down. Okay.
All right.
Any last parting words? I see you're repping your Tanner Younger Yarbourgh. I think that was Washington D.C. in 2013. Sure. Anything else? Any goodbyes or anything else you want to say to the family?
Well, the only thing I'll say is I won't be there for this reunion.
Okay.
And maybe I'll catch the next one.
Right.
And I'm sure you'll pick a good spot for it.
All right. Well, thank you for your time and your interview, and thank you for letting us come to your house and looking at your family wall. I see you got this book. I think this is your grandparents here, Adele Carr, and some of your family and all your sisters are there. All right. We'll wish you goodbye from Virginia Beach. Y'all enjoy the family reunion this year.
This interview is with Rosalind Ann Turner, the eldest member of the Young branch of the Tanner Young and Yarbourgh family tree. Rosalind Ann Turner was born in Gainesville, Georgia in 1933. She is the daughter of John Turner and Ruby Lee Young Turner, the granddaughter of Henry Young and Molly Tanner Young, and the great-granddaughter of Lawson and Charity Tanner. And I'm going to ask you a few questions about your history. Please tell us something about your grandparents that you remember, or growing up, who was the oldest family member that you knew?
Henry and Molly Young, because the others had passed away when I was born, or either lived out of town somewhere. So we didn't see them as often until reunion time came. And usually on the weekends or sometime on holidays, especially during Thanksgiving or Christmas, we would go down and visit with them and have dinner, and children would play games and stuff. And during the August time, we would go to church, because on first Sunday in August was always meeting, and everybody would come from out of town and stuff. And during the Christmas holidays, we would go when people came out of town. That's when they usually had their reunion dinner and go to church. And the children would get an opportunity to ride on the back of the wagon with the pulled by the mules, because they didn't call them horses back then. Mules. And we would all get together and sing and shout them to get the spirit here.
So that was your earliest member of the family reunion as well, what you're recalling?
Yes.
Okay.
It was called during the Christmas thing.
Okay. So tell me, what is your favorite reunion that was held out of town? And if you remember, what you enjoyed most about it?
Going to Kansas City. I enjoy most about going to Kansas City because I got opportunity to see my brother Larry and his family. And then some of the other brothers and things would come from out of town and bring their families, and they had little babies during the time that we had never seen and probably wouldn't have saw at all if we hadn't had the reunion. They came and brought it because they lived such a long way, and some of them had too many children.
Okay, what does the 100th Tanner Young and Yarbourgh reunion mean to you? Because this is a special occasion, so that we're celebrating the 100th reunion. What does that mean to you?
Well, I'm just thankful to know that we could stay together as a family for that many years and have such a wonderful time, because we usually had a good time when we visited different towns and things, and go sightseeing and see different things. And like in Kansas City, I've been trying to figure out why they had their town decorated with cows, but they had cows statues all over the downtown area. And then some of the places we went to, such as Kansas City, the mayor presented the proclamation to the hostess at the family reunion. And he done a little talking and invited us all to come back and how he enjoyed it and everything.
Okay. So what message would you give today's younger generation of the Tanner Young and Yarbourgh family?
I would tell them to always work together, love one another, because life is too short to be acting like we act sometimes. And then another thing, they need to go to school, get a good education, so they can be sufficient and able to take care of their own families and help the society in some way or somehow, make it a lot better. And it's really have lasted a long time. I'm very happy to say we almost made it, but we've done it today. And I know our great-great-grandparents would be very happy to know that something they started is still going on with lots of love, because I love everybody. And I hope they feel the same way about me. If they got anything, ask me to do, I'll be glad to do the best I can for it. And anything I might could help somebody, If I were able, I would be glad to do so. And I thank God for giving us all the strength and the knowledge to work together as a family.
This interview is with Doris Fulks, the eldest member of the Tanner branch of the Tanner Young and Yarbourgh family tree. Doris was born in 1938. She is the daughter of James and Rosalie Tanner. This interview will now commence with the first question. Please tell us something about your grandparents that you remember, or of one of the oldest family members you knew.
Well, I remember my aunt Bernice Tanner. He used to come, and he and his wife and the children used to come to our house, stay a week at the time, and we just had a good time. And I remember that. Any other of the members of the family, like Miss Burkale.
Yeah, okay. So, what is your earliest memory of the Tanner Young and Yarbourgh family reunion, or when was the last time that you attended?
Now, I can't remember that, but it's been a good while when it was out. The last one I went to was at Butler High, out there, Butler Building out there. That's the last one. And I can't remember what year that was.
All right. What does the 100th Tanner Young and Yarbourgh reunion mean to you? Or why do you think our family has been able to continue our tradition of reuniting for 100 years?
Because they were good, hard-working people, and they loved one another. I think that's what kept them together. They was good Christian people too.
Yes. All right. And last one, what message would you give to today's younger Tanner Young and Yarbourgh generation?
I would tell them to keep their generation going.
Awesome. Thank you.